Good afternoon and welcome to TV47's News Now at this hour on this eve of Mashujaa Day celebrations to be held in Kwale County tomorrow. Let's get you updated on what is happening at this hour, but first let's get a look at the highlights. The highlights. Government sends 108 employees from former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's office on compulsory leave following the ongoing constitutional proceedings related to Gachagua's impeachment. It is all systems go in Kwale County ahead of the Mashujaa Day celebrations on Sunday.
I've planned an elaborate security strategy that will ensure safety and security of all residents and visitors who will be attending the celebrations.
And one person dead, another one seriously injured after a vehicle carrier lost control and rolled several times at the Mai Mahiu cliff.
Hiyo tura yote ikaenda mpaka huko chini, ikaruru mara mingi ikaenda mpaka hapa chini.
Welcome to the broadcast. I am Sheila Chelangat. We begin with the government has sent 108 employees from former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's office on compulsory leave. The decision follows ongoing constitutional proceedings related to Gachagua's impeachment in a letter dated October 18th. Principal Administrative Secretary Patrick Mwangi said the directive affects all officers in job groups T and U. Mwangi instructed all heads of department to appoint responsible officers to oversee their respective departments during the leave period. He further directed that the designated officers must be communicated in writing, with copies sent to both the Chief of Staff and the Principal Administrative Secretary. And moving on, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's ouster process has triggered a number of court cases which have raised significant legal questions. According to judges handling the cases, the Senate sided with the National Assembly on 5 out of 11 charges against the DP, with his legal team preparing for one-of-a-kind court battle.
At the start of the impeachment process, ousted Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua faced 11 counts, which, according to the mover of the motion, Kibwezi West MP Mwengi Mutuse, headed the way to remove him from office by way of impeachment. And after a turbulent afternoon on Thursday, the Senate voted to oust the DP on 5 out of 11 grounds, finding no enough grounds on 6 grounds. Gachagua's goose was cooked as soon as the first vote, which was supported by 53 senators, with just 13 siding with the self-proclaimed truthful man.
Gross violation of Articles 10(2)A, B, and C, 27(4), I had already read it out.
The Senate found the DP guilty of operating outside his eye office by publicly attacking and undermining the work of the National Intelligence Service, with 46 senators voting in support of it, while 30 senators voted against it. The Senate also accused the second-in-command of breaching his oath of office and allegiance. 49 senators upheld the charge against the DP, while 16 of them voted against this matter. Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua was also found guilty of undermining judicial independence through public attacks on a judge. 51 senators found him guilty, while 16 opposed. But according to Gachagua's legal team, the decision was unwarranted.
Until these matters are argued on the 24th, and the courts will give us direction, as they have said, what it is. Yeah. So our teams are ready for it.
What seems to irk the legal team is the fact that Parliament rushed to oust him, despite being within constitutional timelines. The legal team expected to mount a legal showdown from next week, seeking to overturn the decision to send Gachagua packing. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Paul Kirobi. And Coast Regional Commissioner Rhoda Onyancha has assured Kwale residents and visiting dignitaries of their security during tomorrow's 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations. During a press briefing this morning, attended by, among others, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura and 3 principal secretaries, Onyancha said a multi-command emergency center has been set up to manage security and traffic. The celebrations to be held at the newly built 10,000 capacity Kwale Stadium, themed around affordable housing, one of President Ruto's pet projects.
Kwamba wageni wote ambao wanafika wameangaliwa sawasawa, mambo ya usalama imeangaziwa, na pia kuwashauri wananchi wa Kwale na kuwasihi kwamba hii ni fursa muhimu sana wamepata na ya kipekee kuweza kumpokea Mheshimiwa Rais hapo kesho, ambaye atakuwa mgeni wetu mkuu. Tungependa tu kuwashauri watu wa Kwale kwamba tuweze kujitokeza mapema na tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba tumeweza kuja pale Kwale Stadium, na tutafungua milango pale kuanzia saa 10 asubuhi. Na mara nyingi labda watu wa Kwale watasema ni sherehe, wageni wanakuja, lakini ningependa kuelezea kwamba tutakuwa na milango miwili ambayo imetengwa kwa wananchi wa Kwale. Kwa hivyo ukiamka asubuhi ujue kwamba kuanzia saa 10 asubuhi milango hiyo imefunguliwa, na tunawakaribisha tuweze kuingia mapema ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba inapofika saa 1 wote tumeweza kuketi na tuko tayari sasa kungojea mgeni wetu wa heshima ili aweze kutuhudumia. Ningependa kwamba kuwaomba pia kwamba tuwe na utulivu, kwa sababu hii ni sherehe ambayo ni muhimu sana, ni sherehe ya Mashujaa. Tutakapokuja pale tuwe watulivu, tuweze kufurahia na kushangilia, na sio kuwa na mambo ambayo labda yataleta rabsha ya kiusalama. Kwa hivyo tunawakaribisha sana watu wa Kwale, tunawakaribisha wageni wetu kutoka nchi nzima, kwamba Kwale tuko tayari, na pia tuko tayari kuwapokea na kuhakikisha kwamba tunakaa vizuri.
Still on the same, we now cross over to the heart of Kwale County, where our reporter Apollo Kamau is standing by. Apollo, good afternoon. What is the level of preparedness in Kwale, and what is the feel of residents hosting their first national celebrations this Mashujaa Day?
Sheila, good afternoon from the newly built Kwale Stadium, which has a capacity of 10,000 people and will be the host of this year's 61st Mashujaa Day celebrations here. As you can see behind me, a lot of activity is going on. At the moment, the children, mostly who do all the color during the celebrations, are warming up for the big day tomorrow, when President William Ruto and other high-level dignitaries will be making their way here for the first time in the county's history, a moment for this county to showcase what it has to offer as the country focuses its port here on Kwale County. This morning we had a press conference by Coast Regional Commissioner Rhoda Onyancha assuring residents here that security will be beefed up or is in place and they should turn up in their numbers, as well as assuring the visitors here a multi-command emergency center has been set up to coordinate the high-level traffic that will be in this place all the way from Diani town to this sleepy town of Kwale here this Sunday when the county will be hosting President William Ruto. Now, just to give you a feel of Kwale this afternoon, on our way here, you can see there is a facelift along the way. Posters have been set up. There are new roads, there are new projects, and one of the notable projects is the mini state lodge, which for the first time will be here in Kwale. This mini state lodge has been serving as a county commissioner residence. Another mega structure which will be notable is this stadium itself, Kwale Stadium, and this will be instrumental not just for tomorrow, but also for the days after, given a lot of sports, a lot of activities will be held here. Now, this year's celebrations have been themed around affordable housing, nyumba yangu na Mashujaa. It's a very key message because since Monday this week, there has been an exhibition of affordable housing, and the government is trying to push the agenda that if you own a house, you are a hero. And that's why it's important for President William Ruto, as he comes here tomorrow, to continue pushing for this agenda. Remember, it's part of the 5 key pillars of the bottom-up economic transformation, which President William Ruto is pushing really hard, a trademark of his administration and one of his crucial pet projects. Now, a bit of politics has been going on, especially in that press conference when we had the deputy government spokesperson, Mwanaisha Chizuga, talking about the deputy president nominee, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, saying he will be here, but as you know, he can't introduce the president because he's still a nominee. So possibly Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi will be left to do the job, given the events that transpired this week in Parliament that saw the impeachment of outgoing Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So for now, Sheila, we are continuing to keep watch here in this county, as you can see us. Preparations were on, and the whole government machinery comes down to this far-flung county, which actually a few kilometers here heads to the beach. After the beach, onward to the Indian Ocean, you go to Tanzania. So it tells you the huge importance this event coming here means for the people of Kwale and the mega projects it will bring here, and putting this county, showcasing its tradition and its rich cultural heritage to the world, will meet the people tomorrow. Back to you, Sheila, in studio.
Thank you very much, Apollo Kamau. Truly, it's quite a momentous occasion for the people of Kwale County, and do stand by for that coverage tomorrow during the Mashujaa Day celebrations here on TV47. Moving on, the national carrier wants a piece of the Adani JKIA pie, saying the possible improvement of airport infrastructure must reflect on the airline's margin as well. According to Kenya Airways CEO Alan Kilavuka, despite the rejection of the partnership with the Kenya Airports Authority on a PIP basis in 2018, the entry of the foreign investor Adani brings hope of the much-needed change, which will benefit all possible players in aviation. This comes amidst confirmation by Treasury Cabinet Secretary that a number of projects might be awarded to the controversial Indian firm if the JKIA and Ketraco projects sail through successfully.
According to the national carrier CEO Alan Kilavuka, the airline, just like any other national carrier, should be able to partake in trade within the airport to move its revenues up from the red zone.
And anything that will help to improve the airport is something that we will support. Like I said earlier, our ask as an airline is we have to be central, because this is our hub. This is where our center of activities. So we have to be prioritized. We have to have the best service possible so that we can deploy our capacity to the rest of the world.
As an user of GKII, I can confess that I've traveled a lot. There are improvements to do. And I know that there are some plans at the government level to improve it.
The Indian Adani Group is set to invest more than 56 billion shillings for the JKIA passenger capacity to 20 million annually, while building a second runway that will increase the traffic by 2035. While the airline shows optimism on the takeover, they maintain the national carrier must be able to make money from the deal, so any proposal forwarded should have the airline's interest at heart.
Kenya Airways, because it's the biggest operator in the airport, they have a special place at the airport, and therefore whatever proposals are done, Kenya Airways has a central role to play.
The sentiment coming just a day after Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi stated that the government cannot afford refurbishment of strategic national infrastructure, and such private players will be sought, even if it means forfeiting some rights and stakes.
In fact, I was asking, like the case we have with JKIA, what is the worst that can happen? Because these are people who are coming with their money to invest. The worst is that they may not, one, give us a fair share of the revenue that is going to be generated, or two, they may be inefficient. If you use KIA, you will realize that the current arrangement is not working properly. We will lose out to our competitors in the region.
This comes as Kilavuka endorses a continental outlook on airlines. African countries, he says, must unite and form a single joint airline to ensure better returns. Hibak Said for TV47.
Thank you, Hibak. And for the third day, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua remains confined at the Karen Hospital, undergoing medical examination. According to his doctors and lawyers, a host of leaders are expected to visit the DP in hospital today. Paul Kirobi is on standby at the Karen Hospital and now joins us.
Naam, bila shaka Sheila Chalanga tunakujia moja kwa moja kutoka hapa katika hospitali ya Karen, ambapo tumekuwa tukikita kambi kuanzia mwendo wa asubuhi kuweza kujua hali ya kiafya naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua inaendelea namna gani ama yuko namna gani katika hospitali hii. Nimeweza kuingia katika upande wa ndani na kuweza kudadisi tu kuchunguza kwa undani naibu rais yuko namna gani. Nikawa nimesemezana na baadhi ya wahudumu wa afya ambao wanafanya kazi huku, baadhi ya wafanyakazi, na kuweza kuzungumza nao kuhusiana iwapo naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua bado yuko katika hospitali hii, na tumeweza kudhibitisha kwamba bado yuko hapa. Ndio taarifa ambayo nimeweza kupokea kutoka upande wa ndani, na pia nikawa nimeulizia iwapo nitakutana na daktari wake Dan Gikonyo. Kipindi ambacho niliingia hapa mwendo wa saa 4, niliingia upande wa ndani na nikaweza kutafuta tu ofisi yake, nikapata ofisi yake, lakini hakuwepo, amefika kazini wakati huo. Lakini labda kuwafahamisha watazamaji wetu kwamba naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua bado yuko katika hospitali hii, na ikumbuke kwamba siku ya jana mawakili wake naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua walikuwa wanasema kwamba hawana tatizo na Rigathi Gachagua kutoshughulika katika mchakato mzima wa kung'atuliwa, lakini kile ambacho labda kinawasumbua zaidi ni kwamba mchakato mzima wa kuapishwa kwa naibu rais mpya ambaye siku ya jana bunge lilikuwa limepitisha kwamba waziri wa masuala ya ndani Kithure Kindiki aweze kuchukua nafasi hiyo, kumaanisha kwamba hili ni swala tata na swala ambalo limezidi kuleta mvutano, na Wakenya wengi walikuwa wanakadiria kwamba huenda naibu rais mpya ambaye alipitishwa na bunge Kithure Kindiki ataweza kuapishwa siku ya leo, lakini hatujaona hafla hiyo ikifanyika, kumaanisha kwamba tunasubiria labda wiki ijayo siku ya Jumanne ndiposa tuweze kujua hatma ya naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua itakuwa gani. Na ikumbuke kwamba mawakili wake walikuwa wanashikilia na kusema kwamba yeye atasalia kuwa naibu rais hadi pale ambapo shughuli nzima ama kesi zote ambazo zipo kotini zitaweza kusikilizwa na kuamuliwa. Lakini tumekuwa tukiendelea kukita kambi hapa katika hospitali ya Karen, ambapo tunazidi kubaini iwapo kuna viongozi ambao watakuwa wanafika hapa kuweza kumjulia hali na tuweze kusikiliza kuanzia sasa kusonga mbele hatma ya naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua itakuwa gani. Kwako studioni Sheila Chelagat.
Right, thank you very much, Kirobi. We will be keeping you updated in our subsequent bulletin. And moving on, one person died with another seriously injured following an accident at Mai Mahiu, where a vehicle carrier rolled several times into the Mai Mahiu cliff. Motorists encountered heavy traffic snarl-ups for more than 3 hours while traffic police officers rushed to tow the vehicles from the cliff. While confirming the incident, Kiambu County Traffic Enforcement Officer Jacob Mutunga called upon road users to be extra cautious while using the northern corridor due to its narrowness. Same time, residents are calling for the Kenya National Highway Authority to fast-track expansion of the Kamandura Mai Mahiu and reinstate the guardrails that were vandalized by criminals.
Dereva alishindwa na kupiga hiyo kona, alafu hiyo magari ikavuruta hiyo trailer yote ikaenda mpaka huko chini, ikaruru mara mingi ikaenda mpaka hapo chini. Sasa wakati ilirudi mpaka huko chini ndio dereva alisurvive, lakini conductor wake mwenyewe alivarikia hapo hapo. Sasa ile naona hii barabara ikipanuliwa kidogo upande wa juu namna hii inaweza kuzuia hii ajali kila saa yote.
Ripoti ambayo tumepata ni kwamba ilikuwa inaelekea upande wa Uganda na yale magari yameweza kuharibika kiasi ya kwamba imeharibika zaidi.
And in a bid to fight alcoholism and its effects in the country, International Institute for Legislative Affairs had a roundtable meeting with editors to address Kenya public health related to alcohol consumption, public opinion attitude, and support for government action on alcohol use in Kenya. Speaking during an event in Nairobi, Fabian Oriri, Policy and Program Officer, stated that NACADA has played a huge role in sensitization of alcohol and substance abuse to school-going children and Kenyans at large. He further stated they will jointly work with them in achieving their goals on Alcohol Control Act.
In Kenya, because also NACADA is a supporter, you have seen part of the initiative we did in public participation. It was very clear. Actually, it is a success in Kenya, so to say, if you have been following. It was very clear from the public participation that when we went over the country, NACADA, it was NACADA leading that exercise. The
alcohol harm. When we look at alcohol harm, we're not looking at addiction. We're looking at the harm associated with alcohol use. And that is not about addiction. It's the potential things that happen. Most people, at that age, it's when they start their sexual orientation.
Sports News.
And let's get sporty. The Gusii Glamour Boys, Shabana FC, are today planning their third away match of the season at Awendo Stadium against Mashujaa FC, following their previous match at Gusii Stadium being called off by the referees due to what was described as an overwhelming number of fans in the stadium. They were supposed to face Posta Rangers in that match. Today, Shabana are the visitors at Mashujaa's home ground, and the match is expected to be played without fans, as stated by the supporters chairman Eric Mochoge Nyariki, along with the team's vice chairperson Wycliffe Ayenda and coach Sami Pamzo Omolo. The coach has mentioned that the absence of fans will not prevent them from performing well, as he has prepared his players thoroughly.
Niko sure sana tuko ready game yetu dhidi ya Mara. Changamoto ni hizi wiki tatu hatujacheza ama tumekuwa tunafanya mazoezi. Kumekuwa na jeraha, maana wachezaji kama 4 wako kwa jeraha na daktari amekuwa na wa assess. But nimefurahi sana Masai amerudi, maana pia alikuwa ni mgonjwa. Alafu na pia Brian Ochieng pia amerudi kwa defense. Alafu na pia Raila alikuwa na knock na amerudi. Mpaka sasa nimekuwa na drill wachezaji wangu kucheza bila mashabiki, whether ni home ama away, na ni kitu sahihi, wako experienced, wanaweza handle. Hii nafurahi sana. Then unapata Mara tu vile umesema, manake sasa hii ndio mpinzani wetu wa karibu, wamekuwa wanafanya vizuri.
The number one pillar in our club, so we are usually very concerned about their safety and security, and we are in support of what the leadership of our fans have come.
Right, and Kenya's Rising Stars on Friday night made history as they punched their first ever under